Now, refreshing the front of your home couldn't be easier. Why not replace that unsightly garage door? Welcome to House Fixer, where we're dedicated to making your DIY and home improvement jobs a little bit easier. I've also found a new technology in concrete, and number 2 on my list of DIY offences, the curtain pole. That's all coming up. But first, is Ireland the right place to have a conservatory in? Let's go and find out. Derek, thanks a million for your time.
No problem at all.
Now, can we start off by, can you just answer the conception for me of, are conservatories too hot during the summer and too cold during the winter?
It is a popular myth. It's getting better now with latest advances with glass in the roof and insulated floors and underfloor heating for the heating in the winter. So they are much more user friendly now all year round than they have previously been.
Alright, and what type of glass is that gets used to keep heat out?
It's a glass value of 1.1 U value, which is the latest building regulations, and it has a coating on it. It's a solar coating which keeps out the UV rays and the intense heat and keeps the heat in.
And if it was to get a conservatory, would I have to be getting planning permission for a room this big on the back of the house, or?
In 90% of the cases, no. It only comes into question when there are other extensions on the house, but generally you'd be safe enough to presume no.
So it's only literally then if you're putting a conservatory onto an existing extension already?
Exactly, yes. If the two add up to over 40 square metres, then it becomes an issue.
What are people using conservatories for these days? What are the advantages of having one on the back of your house?
Conservatories are probably the easiest way of adding square footage onto your actual property. It doesn't intrude too much on your garden. It brings your garden into the house, and it's a great room for entertaining and what have you, and kids' playrooms and stuff like that.
Now, one point with conservatories is if you're anyway elevated or a low garden wall between houses, is that you're not kind of living in a fishbowl, if you like.
It can be a concern for some people, but generally the high wall goes on the neighbour's side, so over eye level there's no question of seeing inside.
And are there any kind of blinds you could stick on an actual conservatory, or?
Oh, there's a huge range of blinds, all shapes and sizes and colours, and there's always the option of putting obscured glass into one side of the conservatory roof if there's an issue.
Alright, so you can actually put in obscured glass.
Absolutely.
I never even considered that one, actually. Very good. Now, I know when you're getting an extension put onto the back of a house, it pretty much turns the whole house upside down, and it's living out of boxes, if you like, for a couple of weeks, if not months. How long are you looking at, say, for a typical sunroom like this?
The average is 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the customer's needs and requirements, but generally there's no disruption whatsoever to the house, as it's all outside in the back garden, so the house can function normally.
So the house gets left alone until the last minute, till you're literally door into the house? And
if there is any building to go into the house, it's done at the end, very last moment.
Very good. So I suppose that would mean then your security of the house stays safe as you like as well until the last minute when the doors actually get changed over. There's
no breaking through till it's actually a closed in room, almost finished.
Very good. Now, if adding a conservatory to your home is going to cost you the same as the stamp duty and fees on a house move, it does beg the question, why move? Now, one of the cornerstones of any good DIY job is get good levels. I've walked into kitchens where floor tiles and radiators look crooked, and my favourite, the washing machine on spin cycle that tries to find itself to the other side of the room. And all because the floor was off level. So how do we fix this? It's easy. So let's go and see just how easy. Well, fair play to you, Jerry. It's one of the cleanest sites I've seen in a while. Now, I was talking about floor levelling and just how easy it can actually be, but can you tell me exactly how easy it is?
Well, floor screeding is normally a pretty difficult task, and the self-leveling floor screed takes the hard work out of it. Very simply, it's a German product, it's self-leveling, it's made from recycled ash.
All right, so how does this differ from traditional concrete then?
Well, people mix up concrete and screed. Concrete is structural concrete, it's the easiest way to explain it, and screed is a sand and cement mix. And this is a high strength grout screed, which is far superior to sand and cement. It doesn't crack, doesn't shrink, and the Germans have invented it about 50 years ago, and it's only recently arrived in Ireland.
Now, if I was to use this over traditional concrete, which I'm still, skeptical of new technologies all the time, how does it fare against traditional concrete?
Well, it's a far higher quality product. It's faster to lay, sets faster. You can return the next morning to walk over it.
But like if I use normal traditional concrete, it always ends up, no matter how good the finish, it's a little lumpy, isn't it? So you can end up with possibly bags of leveling compound to try and get it nice and flat just to put your tiles on top of.
Concrete floors would generally end up, with a plus or minus of 7, 8, 10 mil difference up or down, even with the best of floor screeders. This product within 2 or 3 mil, plus or minus 2 or 3 millimeter, which is way within the acceptable rules.
I know this product is becoming more popular with the likes of underfloor heating, but what would the advantages of that be over a traditional pour of concrete on underfloor heating?
The main advantage is that the Germans do not use sand and cement or concrete over underfloor heating in principle.
Why not?
Because it has a tendency to crack. Anything with cement product in it will crack. This is not a cement product, it's called an anhydrate. It's a recycled ash material, and as a result it's high strength, and its characteristics are that there's no expansion or contraction, so therefore it doesn't cause cracking around the pipes.
Crack, yeah. Now, as regards underfloor heating, because it's a thinner product, and it's going to have a different density to normal concrete, is it going to conduct heat as well as normal concrete?
The whole idea is that it's highly conductive of the heat. The whole idea is that the screed is around the pipe, there's 100% contact, it goes under the pipe and over the pipe. If you put in sand and cement, it doesn't tend to get under the pipe, so there's only about 75% of the pipe in contact with the actual screed, right. Which is what the screed is what dispenses the heat. Right,
okay, and so it's literally because it's thinner, it's going to heat up quicker effectively than 3 or 4 inches.
The whole idea is that underfloor heating heats up fast and cools down fast, so therefore it's very responsive using thinner screeds.
Well, what about the likes of a timber framed house? Would it work in a timber framed house with the weight of it? Yeah, timber framed houses, the whole idea is also you put soundproofing materials in with the underfloor heating, and one of the products is a soundproof mat. The soundproof material, this is a soundproof mat which goes on top of the floor. We have a sample of it here. This is a typical engineered floor beam which you'd have in a timber frame house on top of plywood, and the mat goes on top of the plywood, plastic, and then the screed with pipe in it. So I can use this upstairs as well then?
This product is used for fire rating timber frame apartment blocks in America and in Germany.
Right, so that means I can come back late at night with my buddies now and not get a tap on the floor from upstairs with a bit of luck. Exactly,
that's the whole idea. You get soundproofing as well as screed on the floors, and this is a pretty unique mat that stops the sound going. It creates an air brake and stops the sound transfer into the floors below.
Excellent. Now again, with the likes of the finish being so flat, it's got to be ideal for tiling surely, because I know like with cement having sometimes a little bit of a rough finish being troweled together, that you end up with floor leveling compound on top of that to make it flat enough for a tiler, so it's got to work well with tilers. Tilers
love the product because it's so flat, and generally they don't need to use floor leveler on it, so therefore there's a cost saving for the consumer. Once this product is put in, it's put into a fairly good finish, and it's almost spot on.
Would I be able to say paint on top of that then? It's such a flat finish.
We have actually had people who painted it with floor paint as a temporary floor finish, and it actually looks quite superb.
All right, excellent. I have one last question for you though. If I went ahead and got that product put into my house, how long is it going to take? How long before I can get back to work?
When you pour it, within 7 hours you can walk on it, right? The next day you can turn the heat on if you require it, and you can get it to zero moisture.
Fantastic. So that means I can get back to work a lot quicker then?
That's the whole idea, it speeds up the whole process.
Right, well, speaking of which, that's what I'm going to do. Jerry, thanks a lot.
Thank you very
Cheers. Well, the disadvantages are you can't use this stuff outside and it's a little bit more expensive, but the benefits, I believe, far outweigh the disadvantages. So you get what you pay for. Now, coming up after the break, I'm going to be looking at updating the front of your home by replacing your garage door and putting an end to problems when it comes to hanging your curtain poles.